Hello, my name's Andy King and I'm the technical editor of Trend Tool Technology, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Trend DWS Kit C. So let's have a look inside and see what we've got. You've got your taper file, diamond lapping fluid, and your credit card stone and a cleaning block. And also a piece of non-slip matting for the credit card stone. Now the stone is 300 grit on one side, 600 on the other. The diamond file is 600 all round, and it's got a radius back and a flat face as well. So we'll just have a little bit of a look about the technology of the diamonds themselves. The diamonds are suspended in a nickel solution, which is then electroplated to the substrates. Gives you a superb bond to the backers. But what it does mean is we also use monocrystalline diamond. Now what that means is they're premium. You'll find inferior product out there will use polycrystalline. Polycrystalline means that over the course of time they fracture and wear, so they get lower and lower into the substrate, which means that while they still cut efficiently at the start, as they start to be used, they will wear down through, and it does mean that over the course of time, they will become useless. Whereas ours, once they're bedded in, they maintain a cut level that retains its lifespan for a long time. We put a 5-year warranty on these stones. They will last a lot longer if you look after them. They will maintain that efficiency and give you superb results across that lifespan. Now I'll run through a quick basic demo on this. So we'll just go over to here, onto the non-slip mat, stop it running around. Now the diamond fluid, the lapping fluid, is a vital part of our diamond stones. What this has within it are rust inhibitors. It's a really fine fluid that helps the stone to cut efficiently. And if you use anything different than this, what you'll find is, because of the diamonds being so finely set into the stone itself, what will happen is it will basically ride over the top. You need something really light and almost like a water's consistency, which is what this is. But if you do put water on these things, they will pick up rust if you're not very careful, and it will invalidate your warranty, because what will happen is it will delaminate the nickel that holds the diamonds in. So it is important that you use the correct fluid for the job, and it does give you a 5-year warranty if you do so. So let's have a quick look. Now obviously router cutters are the one area where it is not difficult to sharpen, but an area where people aren't necessarily aware they can do. So what you're looking to do is get right in tight to the gullets in here, and the idea being is it needs to just address on the flat. You never do the curved or profile faces, it's always on the flat face. So what you're looking to do is onto your credit card stone, and again I've got 300, so I'll do it on a 600 for carbide. So you flip your stone, a couple of little dots of fluid, it doesn't need a massive amount. And what you're looking to do, the cutter engages onto the stone, tight into the gullets, so it's working right across the face, nice and flat to it. Very minimal pressure, just light pressure, just enough to let the diamonds do the work. They're efficient in their own right. It doesn't need hardly any pressure, and you count your strokes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You flip and you repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you see the dirt building up here. That's the carbide being abraded by the diamonds to show how efficient they are. And that's it. It's just a matter of a few light strokes. Now what you'll find is on bearing cutters, obviously the bearing will prevent it going right into the gullet, so you take your bearings off, and the same again, simply on, 5 or 6 light strokes, flip and repeat. And there you can see again how much is being abraded straight away. What you need to be aware of is, as with any sharpening, it's always best to do little and often. Never let it get too dull, because it just means extra work all the time. If you've got the opportunity just to take it to the stone, please do so. It is much more efficient a way to do so. It keeps your tools a lot sharper, much better way to sort it out. Now if you look at this one, these are the replaceable insert ones, and again, take the insert out, and again, not on the bevels, always on the flat, and this time around, just a few little rotations like so. And that's that one done. Same again with your spindle knives. Again, always on the flat, never on the profile. And that's that. Now you can, on smaller chisels, basically get away with a little bit of flattening on the back. If you need to do it, just flatten the back off, and even some very light sharpening as well. It's not the ideal one. It will get you through if you are in a bit of a sticky area and you've got nothing else to sharpen on. Ideally with chisels and plain irons you need a bigger bench stone, but it will get you by, it will do it for you. So let's move on to turning tools. Now again, as I say, on the 300 grit, what you're looking to do is you're trying to follow that bevel around. Now if you try and do it on a stone like this, it can be done, but it's very hard to try and control that bevel as you work around. So the easiest way to do it is to pick up the stone, and again, a little bit of fluid, just to make sure you're keeping your stone as efficient as possible. And all you're looking to do is you address it onto the bevel like so, and then just run it around using little light strokes and little circular motion. And all you're looking to do is follow that bevel around. And as long as you keep engaging in that bevel and keep that moving, that will give you a perfect sharp edge every time. And again, on the bigger gouges, same principle. Again, just follow that bevel around. So this time around, a steeper bevel, but again, all you're looking to do, keep this going in a circular motion and just rotate the tool around, and it will give you a very efficient and controllable cut. When you move on to your tools like a skew chisel in your wood turning, again, this time around you're looking for a sharper edge. You go onto your 600 grit. What you're looking to do is, again, find that bevel, and all you're looking is just roll that around like so. Really light touch. And that's the issue with diamond stones especially. It's not like when you use an oil stone or anything like it where you find you're not cutting and you really try to lean onto it. These are so efficient, it's very, very light pressure. It doesn't need hardly any pressure at all. Let the stone do the work. So as I say, it's just a little rotate round the edge like so, flip it over, do the same again. All you're trying to do is get a wire edge on, get that wire edge off again, and give yourself a nice clean and keen finish. Things like axes, again, you can do it with an axe onto an edge like so. Now this time around you have to be a little bit careful because you're going in towards the edge itself, so you're looking to just run around like so. Again, you've got the 300 grit if your axe is in need of a really good touch up where it's been got too dull. Again, you just run it around like so. Again, be very careful because you don't want to be addressing into this and catching your fingers. So it's more of walking across this way as opposed to in that way. So walk over the blade like so, and then you flip, and you continue to do the same again. And again, count the strokes just to make sure you're even. Flip it over if you want to get a keener edge onto your 600 grit. And again, just repeat the process. And as I say, little and often, we'll keep it in tip-top condition every time. You can use a knife on these stones. Again, a little bit of care, because what you don't want to be doing is bringing the stone in towards you like this. You don't want to be bringing the knife in towards your fingers. So this time around, you're looking to just run away like so. And then bring back, and again, and it is all about light pressure. Now on this 300 grit, you can hear how coarse it is. Now you'll find that when they're brand new, these stones, you do have to bed them in because of the process of the way the diamonds are bonded to the nickel. There are some sort of loose particles on top, and as soon as you start using them, that does break down, and it does give you then a perfectly flat and fine stone, ultra fine, ultra flat. And as you can see on the 600 grit, then you just do the same again, and all you're looking to do is find that bevel, pick it up to the bevel you need, a little bit of light pressure, and just walk it across the stone. And then again, reverse and walk it back up the stone the other dimension. And then you're looking just really light touches, and that takes care of any knife. Now serrated knives are a little bit different because serrations tend to be just on the one side. You can get them on both faces, but normally you tend to find they're just on the one face. Ideally, you'd like to think you'd have to do every serration like that. It's a lot of work to do so. It's a bit pointless when you've got a flat back on that, and you're bearing in mind what you do with your router cutters and things like that, where you don't ever work the bevels or the profiles, you only work the flats. Same applies. So what you can do with that one, what would be the flat area here where the serration is on the opposite face. So you put it down onto its flat, pick it up, and just walk it down through. And what you're doing now is exactly the same as on your cutters. you're just taking off that flat face there, and all you're doing is introducing these points back in, keeping these nice and tight, nice and sharp. That basically covers the credit card stone in its own right. One thing to be aware of with this stone, it is very thick, very stable. There's no flex in this. You do find inferior stones out there that are thin and they do flex. And especially when you're doing your turning tools and things like this, what you don't want to be doing is this stone flexing in your hand in rolling. You just need to be nice and controlled on it. So it gives you that option, always nice and flat, especially with stuff where you're working across a flat face as well. You don't want to be putting curves into it where the stone is too weak and it tends to distort. What we'll move on to now is the file. So with the file, again, a little bit of light fluid onto it, onto both sides. And what you can find, again, if you are using gouges and you don't want the burr on the inside face, use the flat on this face as your support. Use the radius on the inside face there and just lightly just run it inside like so, and that will take off the burr. Now you can find these are useful to wood turners as well. They may not always prefer the credit card. In this situation though, what you've got is almost like using a standard file. So you've got the hand grip, so you wrap your fingers around, control with your finger, and you can literally roll it around like so. A little bit more controlled in this respect, but a little bit more difficult to maintain that bevel. So you could still do the same again and roll around like so. So you do have options with either stone, whichever suits and whichever you find more comfortable. They are both capable of doing the same thing. This one, as I say, has got the added bonus of the radius back, so it will give you the chance to take out any internal burrs if you want to. And likewise with the skew, you have that same thing, roll it over again, or that same easy rotation mode, like so. Now what this also gives you is areas like scissors. Now scissors, you never do the inside faces here, only on the bevels. So with a scissor, what you're looking to do is light it down flat onto a surface where you can support it well. But because the bevel is running away from you, if you can tilt it so the bevel is now horizontal, you're looking to just run it across like so. And again, very light strokes. And then you flip, find that horizontal position, and again, repeat. Now what this will do, it will give you a very, very light burr on the inside. You can just run that off as long as you keep it very, very flat to that. You don't want to be doing this because as soon as you introduce a secondary bevel, the scissors won't cut. They have to be flat and flat. But you tend to find normally, because that burr is so light, as soon as you do a couple of strokes like that, those burrs get worn away and your scissors are back to being razor sharp again. So now we move on to more specialist stuff like Forstner bits, Arbitex, and your circular saw blades. So with the Arbitec, this particular one, this has got cutting faces here, and here, and here, and here. So what you've got is a very, very light radius in there. So the back of this one is perfect for this. It just runs inside, and you're looking to just run it around and roll it around inside that position there, and just maintain that bevel, and it just picks up this front face here on this cutting edge. Likewise, when you spin it to this one, now again, you can come back at yourself this way and do it this way, so you can always see what you're looking at, or you can do it this way, whichever you feel more comfortable with. You flip and you do the opposite, because they work left and right, almost like a saw blade. You've got left and right cuts. But again, it's all about a light touch and just following that bevel round and just rolling your file around and just pick up on the areas you need to get. So now you move on to your Forstner bits. So on a continuous rim one like this, what you've got is this internal face here. You'd never ever do any work on the outside face, because as soon as you start introducing discrepancies on that, that will never cut properly again. It's all about maintaining the sharpness of this outer rim. If you don't do this, what happens is it ends up burning all around here. It affects the way the work cuts. It means that instead of actually cutting through the fibres as it should do, it just scorches, it's dull, it's no good. It's all about maintaining that sharp edge. So what you're looking to do is trying to get some support on that, and you're looking to just roll this around inside. And again, using the round back of the file, just roll that inside the rim. Now you can do it like this, you can hold it up and just do it like this if you feel a bit more comfortable doing so. It's whatever you feel works best for you. It's all about a light touch and trying to maintain the fact that as soon as you feel this is starting to go off its boil a little bit, it starts to get a little bit dull, sharpen it. don't think you can do a few more holes and get away with it, because the duller it gets, the more work you end up doing with one of these. And it's trying to maintain that simple frequency to keep it going. Now again, on this cutting face here, you've got this flat face here. It's just a really just a light touch over there, but you do your work on this bevel here. Now you've got your flat face and you're just running into there. It's just light touches. And you flip and do the opposite, light touches. And if you get your burr on that, as I say, just a real light touch just to remove that burr. And that covers continuous rim. Now when you come onto your sawtooth, what you've got now, again, your file works exactly the same way as you're sharpening a saw. So this time round, what you can do, you can either trap it into a vise, and you're now bringing your file around like so, and like so, and like so. Or you can do it like this, pick up each tooth, and move to the next one. And again, like with the scissors, what you're trying to do, what you don't want to be doing is working awkwardly. If you can try and get the tooth up to the area where you need to be flat, so the file's flat and you can get more control, flatten it across, pick up to the next one, flatten across, pick up, and again. And what you're looking to do is just keep those faces nice and clean and just touch off the back edges as well on the top of each tooth, as you would when you're sharpening a saw, exactly the same way. And you can run a little bit on the inside rim again, just to pick up those points if it needs it. A little bit of work in there, that keeps them going. And again, you've got the same flat cutting face here and the bevel. A little bit of work on there with the flat face, just across the top there. And then just run off that burr, and that covers them. You can do these now with the credit card as well. Depends on whichever you feel confident with, whichever feels better for you. Same sort of thing, you're just running into there, into the bevel, into the tooth there. Again, pick up to the next one, and the next one. And all you're looking to do, like you are when you're doing any work with a saw, traditionally, you just feel until you get that bevel position. You can feel it engage, and you'll feel that flat. And once you feel that go, then you're in the right spot. It stops you running around too far and rolling. You can just see it and engage it and then cut. So now we're going to move on to saw blades. What we're looking to do is exactly the same as when you're sharpening a saw, as in a traditional hand saw. You're looking to pick up on these bevels and just sharpen those faces there. You don't do the tops on these. The traditional saw, you do the front and back of the tooth. These, you just do the front face, again, almost like your router cutters, just on the cutting flat faces, never on the back edges. So what you look to do is trap it into a vise, or if you've got it into a table saw, ideally leave it in there and just take the guards off and just do it that way. Again, you've got choices. You can do the file. And what you're looking to do is find your start position. So what you're looking is a little mark, just so you don't go around and cut too many teeth at the same time. You cut halfway around your saw and continue when you've already finished. So that's your first position. Now on this one, you're looking to find that position on that tooth, and you can feel it and you can see the top edge engaging. And as soon as that flat edge is there, and then you just do your 3 or 4 strokes there, move on to the next tooth. Now this one goes in the opposite direction, because this one was going away from me one way, this one goes away the opposite this way. And again, you find that flat and you feel, and you're looking to do, as before, try and keep it as easy to use as possible. What you don't want to be doing is working around like this, or working around like this, because it's very difficult then to control the file. And you can see already the carbide being abraded there. So you simply then move around to your next set of teeth, engage. And what you'll find with this file especially, because you can use it like a saw file, you've got control at the back, control at the front, so it prevents any of this, which is the problem you've got when you're using a longer stone or trying other methods of doing it. So it is easier to use it as you would like a traditional saw file. It gives you a lot more control through the stroke. You can keep the stroke straight, so it's much easier. You can use the credit card, and again, if you use the credit card, you've now got a lot of area up here to control as well, so you do have a tendency to try and roll this way if you're not too careful, but you can do it. Certainly on a bigger tooth with a deeper gullet, it may be better, because then you get right down in and you're working on a higher point of the stone. And that will give you probably 3 or 4 sharpens before it needs to go back to a saw doctor for a regrind. Now the other thing to touch upon is the cleaning block. Even with the efficiency of our lapping fluid, the stones will eventually start to pick up extra abrasiveness, and it'll pick up and it'll start to sit into the stone. And it does feel sometimes like the stone isn't cutting as it used to, a little bit less efficient as before. Use your cleaning block, and all you're looking to do is just rub that into the surface, and you can see straight away it's lifting out all that dirt that's just picked up on these few sharpens here, and you can see straight away that you're back to a clean stone. As before, keep it nice and clean, don't let it get too bad, just look after it and it'll last you a lifetime. And remember, count your strokes and minimal pressure, that's all it's needed. Just 2 little simple stones is the ideal kit for an array of smaller tools especially, that covers a vast amount of work.